So hello and welcome to today's video. And today I'm going to talk about, again, on that same theme of how you heal from narcissistic abuse and how it's connected to your self-worth. And there's always barriers within us. So today I'm going to talk about awareness and resistance to change and talk about how understanding those can help you with your healing journey. Okay. Now, I think I've mentioned it in a previous video, but the first step in the process of identifying your personal roadblocks, to living empowered, to living abuse-free and living a narc-free life is to become aware of what you're actually saying and thinking in your head. Now, most of the time, our inner self-talk, it's habitual and barely noticeable. And I'm going to devote a whole series to self-talk after this series of videos, where I'm really going to explain to you what's going on with self-talk and how you can change it, okay? And I'll delve also into limiting beliefs, and I'll do a series on those. But for now, I just want to bring these ideas to your awareness. Now, these very common emotional blocks that could be getting, well, these are very common emotional blocks that could be getting in the way of, you living a more empowered life. So becoming aware of them is that first step towards being able to change them. But it's also really important to understand how the two aspects of your mind work so that you can gain a new level of clarity around that. And I'm also going to talk a bit more about the subconscious mind tomorrow in a bit more detail in my next video, okay? But for today, I want you to just turn your thinking to these things I'm going to talk about now and ask yourself which of them resonate with you and your current worldview. So the first one is resistance to change. Resistance to change is really, really common because we're creatures of habit by nature, and we like familiarity and routine by and large. And this is actually good for us because it keeps us within safe boundaries most of the times, and therefore, we're protected. But what happens is we allow ourselves unknowingly a lot of the time just to become concreted into our routines and comfort zones. And that applies to even the comfort zone of the narc abuse. And there can be a lot of patterns of familiarity with abuse that we're equally comfortable with at a subconscious level. And we actually cut off the possibility of getting out and healing. Now, on a surface level, we think, we really want to get out, but that old devil, fear, and I have talked about fear in another video, fear comes creeping back in, and it can come in the form of resistance. Now, fear of the unknown can become a bigger monster, and we resist the unknown. So if this kind of feels like, yeah, this is me, this applies to you, ask yourself, what are you really so afraid of? And think it over for a while and note down any thoughts that come up and ask yourself some more questions around them. Are those fears so terrifying that you would prefer to go on living in a soul-sucking relationship? For example, if you are still stuck in a relationship with a narcissist, or you're still in contact with a narcissistic parent or sibling, for example, or even, in the workplace, maybe you have a narcissistic boss, or, an absolute viper of a colleague who's destroying your life every day at work. So ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid to reach out and get therapy, to get help, because you don't know what might come up? Maybe you're terrified that there's all sorts going on in your psyche that you don't want to be confronted with. So dig deep and find out what's really lying underneath the fear, because there's always something underneath, and it's your job to try and discover what it is. Now, self-talk is another huge component of how we understand ourselves and how we begin to heal. And I will be doing a complete series on self-talk, but just want to cover it here. So how we talk to ourselves is so important because everything we say is picked up by our subconscious and reinforced time and time again. And when we start to listen to our internal dialogue, most of it is negative. But when we realize that we can change the way we talk to ourselves and choose to say much more empowering things, our subconscious will quite happily start learning to accept those thoughts as our new reality. And I say that they'll start to, they won't blindly accept, because that depends very much on limiting beliefs. And I will talk about those in a separate series of videos, because limiting beliefs can be embedded in our subconscious and they can prevent us moving forward for a whole host of different reasons, okay? But coming back to the initial process is you need to bring your awareness to listening to your self-talk and hearing what you're saying to yourself all the time. And then you can make a conscious effort to start changing out that dialogue, you know, in favor of something much more kind and loving and supportive for yourself. And when you think about it, you're being beaten up enough, or you have been, by a narcissist. So you don't need to keep adding more negativity on top of that. Now, again, I'm going to touch briefly on limiting beliefs, because one of the main reasons why positive self-talk may not be instantly absorbed by your subconscious is because you may unknowingly be harboring deep-seated limiting beliefs, okay? And those beliefs can be things like ones I've talked about in previous videos. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, or fear. So unearthing them requires you to listen to yourself, to your negative or to your self-talk, and to question every negative statement that ever comes up. And then you ask yourself, where do those beliefs come from? And you can note down your answers, and this will help you with building up a new profile of yourself. And it will be invaluable for further work on your journey to healing and to living a more empowered and fulfilling life. So healing from narcissistic abuse is all about challenging yourself and changing the old stories that just don't serve you anymore. And it does take work and consistency, but it absolutely doesn't have to take years and years and years, and you don't have to spend years and years and years in therapy, okay? When I work with clients, it tends to be short, very fast-track therapy that gets them results really, really quickly, and lasting results. Because what happens is when you change your perception of the world, when you change how you're continually looking at things and recalling things and remembering things, it completely changes the way you feel. And it's absolutely amazing, and it can work so fast, okay? But all of the things I share in this video, these are things that you can learn that will help you going through the rest of your life, because changing your thinking like this helps you to keep constantly, you know, valuing yourself. And once you get into the new habit, a new way of thinking, you form these new habits, and these are going to serve you for the rest of your life, okay? So it's worth spending some time making notes on the videos that I'm sharing with you and seeing how they apply to you. And by all means, share your experience with me. Please let me know, you know, which of the tips you've tried that work for you. I would absolutely love to hear from you. But as I often say, if you want really rapid results and you want help to get there much more quickly than you would if you did it on your own, then I invite you to connect with me. Come and join my group. I do offer a 30-minute crisis to clarity session with me to anyone who I feel is in a position that I might be able to help them, and obviously to explore that more. So if that's you, contact me and we will have a chat, and I will help you drill down very quickly to what you need to do to start healing. So that's it for this video today, very short and sweet. And tomorrow I am going to, as I mentioned, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the subconscious and what the subconscious has to do with everything. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for more steps to healing from narcissistic abuse. Thank you very much. Bye.